everybody. We got 7 people in the chat room already. 2 thumbs up. We're not even there. Blimey. 2 thumbs up. Excellent. Thank you very much. Without further ado, special guest tonight. First time for TK. Now, TKRobinson is all the way down in New Zealand. Okay, so there's a 13-hour time difference. So for us in the UK, it's 8 o'clock in the evening, and we're all just finishing our tea and sitting down and relaxing for the evening. Unfortunately, TK is very much he might be sitting down relaxing, but he got his day's work to do after this as well. So all I will say is thanks to Will, which is his boss, for allowing him to come in on the live stream for a little bit of technical Q&A, and also I'll get the chance to answer or ask TK a few questions about his training and his experiences since he's been involved with being trained by Darren in my method of training. So the other thing I wanted to say is this particular live stream this month, I'm going to focus on training. So there's a bit of information that some training that I've been doing, and obviously with TK here, he can give you the benefit of his experience of being trained as well, and hopefully I can learn a bit, and everybody else watching can learn a bit as well. So Darren's on. So Darren Restorations is on. He says hi. We got Jones boy there, says good evening. Troy Powell, hi guys from Oregon. Wonderful. They're all coming in. Phil Huggett, evening gents. Yeah, they're all coming in. Yeah, lovely. Rachel, evening all. Yeah, wonderful. So people are starting to come in now. We've got 21 people online. So yeah, fantastic. So let me crack on a little bit with the training while we're talking about the training thing this month, is because obviously now I've finished doing my seasonal tuning. I can now concentrate on a few other things like training. And I just want to say that Phil Huggett has recently completed his training, which was Friday, for Distributor training. So I believe that Phil is going to be trading, I beg your pardon, under the business name. You'll like this one, TK, Total Recurve.
I like that.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that is cool. So we wish Phil all the best with that. But the important thing as well is Phil's going to very much be available to our tuner network. So if we need distributors and stuff, I appreciate for you, might not be so helpful, TK, because he's still in the UK.
Freight's a killer.
Yeah, absolutely. So at the end of the day, I am slowly, getting around a few more people to bring a few more people online for next year. People would have already seen as well, there's a lot of more tuning days next year. So I've definitely got 3 big ones going on, and one of which is ACDodd Restoration up in Halifax, which is nearly 5 hours away from me. So that's up north. So that's the big up north one. And it was so oversubscribed that we filled up 2 days. They asked for a 3rd day, which I've done. And then this morning they asked me for a 4th day, and I declined. I said, because I'm not going to be well after 3 days because of the fumes. So I have to be a bit careful with the amount of cars. So 3 days is as much as I can do in one go. So that's been absolutely bonkers with people trying to book that one. So apologies, but we'll look at doing something again in the future on that one. And the other thing about ACDodd Restoration is they've also booked me for training as well. So ACDodd Restoration is going to be the first one in the north of England that is going to be trained to the ACDodd method of tuning. So they've asked me not to mention when that is, and that's absolutely fine because obviously there's a period of TK will know about this. There's a period of doing the training, and then there's a period of practicing. Okay, so and that makes absolute sense. So the good news is there will be someone next year. But more on that when that happens. The other thing is, I wanted to let anybody know that's watching that I do the training courses for tuning. So when you see me out in the field doing my demonstrations and stuff like that, I can come to your workplace and obviously train mechanics to be able to do that same tuning. And it's quite fortuitous this particular month because we have TK with us. So I was going to ask TK to kind of let us know his experience of doing training now, because he's in New Zealand. It wasn't a case of me jumping on a plane and just popping over to do some training. So Darren Haines in the United States, he's based in Colorado, actually did video training for me because of the time zone difference is a nightmare. So Darren did that for me, and obviously completed the training with TK. So I think let's go over to you now, because everyone has heard me talking for enough now. But if you could kind of let everybody know your experience with the training, and we'll go from there, really.
Yeah. So obviously, it was a wee bit of back and forward with Darren, just trying to work out times and everything there, because obviously I can't even remember what the time difference is. I just know that it was I had to get here really early in the morning, and we had to be finished at like 3 or 4 o'clock. But Darren, being Darren, he just wanted to go right through until basically until 5 o'clock himself, which was getting probably quite late for him. It was an eye opener. It was a massive eye opener to see how poorly these cars have been running for so long, and it's a wee bit crazy to see that they've lasted like this, and in the state of repair that they've been, the state of disrepair that they've been in. Carburetors basically being toast. Nearly all of them that I've gone through have just been absolutely worn out. There's been a couple there that have been like, oh yeah, I can cope with this, but there's been some absolute disasters. But before doing the training, I wouldn't have known to check any of that sort of stuff. It was what I think we spent 3 days, Darren and myself doing the training, and after the first day, it's just this massive overload of knowledge, and I'm just like, I was not prepared for this.
I think that's one thing that people find out is once they get into the training, they kind of realize. The comments I get is like, I had no idea there was so much.
Yeah, it's because they look like a really simple carburetor. People get into that. Oh yeah, they're really easy to sort out. They're only really easy to sort out after you've done the training.
Yeah.
If you haven't done the training, it's complete guesswork.
Yeah,
it's essentially what it is.
Yeah.
But no, I obviously I really appreciate what knowledge that you've passed on to us, as well as obviously Darren with training me those few days. But it's been an eye opener.
So your video that you put out last week, fantastic video, just kind of extolling what you've just said there, really, and just saying, I thought I knew stuff beforehand, and then once you've done the training, it's like, oh.
That could have gone really badly in a lot of cases, but at least I was kind of on the ball with that. But beforehand, it was essentially it's total guesswork.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So since you've done, how many cars you done roughly since you've done the training?
About 30.
About 30. Okay, so that's 30 cars.
Yeah.
Right. So what's been the effect on your business? Since you've done the training.
A lot more phone calls. Quite a few more bookings. Obviously, we've had. Behind me, we've got a stockpile of carburetors now that I've got to go through and rebuild, because of how many minis we're getting through the door. That just have, they're just worn out. And it's now getting to the point where I'm having to start investing in tools for the Hanna Motor Services is starting to invest in the tools for the distributor course that I'm hoping to do hopefully in the next month or so.
Okay, cool. Well, it's entirely up to you how fast you can get that dizzy machine built. The interesting thing, though, you say you've had a lot more inquiries. I'll take it. It sounds to me like you've already recouped the cost of the training.
I'd like to think so.
Yeah. So, which is, I suppose once the word gets out that you've got training, and then obviously you've put your videos out, and then people can see the effect. You know, and I've seen the fact that you've got lots of people talking about, what's going on and what you're doing and the positive impact you're having. And some of the videos I've seen that you've put out, people are speechless. They can't even comment on the, absolutely stunned about how much better the car runs after you worked on it, which is, which is what it's all about, because people have literally forgotten, what these cars are supposed to run like. And it's only, when you've had some training and then you can put that into practice, and then, you do a good job, and the cars really perform, and the customers love it, and they're just like, they don't even know how to react because they've never had that experience, which is fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even for myself, I've been talking to you about my white tile 75 GT, and I mean, I've done about 10,000 kilometers in that since buying the car. It sat for 17 years before I got to it, and as part of this is one of the cars we did part of the training in. It was pretty cool to learn that you can tell what the gas analyzer reading is to determine bad valve seats.
Yeah,
bad sealing conditions. And then obviously I've done the cylinder head on that in the last week, and it changed the characteristics of that tune completely. It just wanted more fuel.
More efficient, basically, and it's consuming the fuel, breathing more air, needs more fuel to go with it, and therefore turns into more power, which is fantastic.
Yeah. So it's all those little extra details. Which had blown me away essentially, because I didn't know that you could find all that sort of stuff out just with the gas analyzer reading.
I suppose it just comes with experience. But once you realise what's going on, then all these pieces of equipment that you use are all like, especially when it's things like tendency and stuff like that. You can say, well, what's actually going on here? Yeah, it's not what it's reading; it's where it's going. Things like that. So it's the more subtle arts of reading your instruments to understand what's going on. So anyway, so I think, unless there's anything else you want to add, we'll go into some questions from people below, and then we'll just see where it takes us. I suppose that's the easiest way. Okay, so we've got let's start with any chance of enabling the video subtitles. I wouldn't know how to do that unless it's that button there. I'm going to push a button now. If we all disappear. No. Okay, that's not. No, I wouldn't know how to do that because I'm only on my mobile. So apologies about that. You'll just have to watch the live stream, as a recording. But apologies that I can't put the subtitles up right now. That's the limit of my knowledge, unfortunately. So we've also got Clint Ford's on there, and he's asking about is SW5 too much cam for 1275? That's not really the right question. No cam's too much for a 1275. It's more of a case of is it too much cam for you? Yeah, because it's not what an SW5 cam is quite an exciting cam, not much low down power. All right, so it's kind of a tame Kent 286. So all I'm saying is that what you really want? Because I wouldn't be putting an SW10 in any engine without rebuilding it. All right, because that's a serious engine, and you would need a build to go around it to make the best from that. So have a think about that, Clint. because at the end of the day, that might not be what you were budgeting for as an engine rebuild. All right, but that's what you're going to need to make that cam work. It's a very good cam, but it just needs the build around it to bring the best out of the cam. Matt Steele, evening AC, morning TK. So
Hey, Matt.
So Matt Steele's another one of my students that's done my training. So it's great to see Matt on here as well. So nice to see you there, Matt. We've got Stig228. Happy birthday, Adrian. I hope you had a day after day apart from this stream. No, I was in the garage lapping valves earlier today, but that's another story and a video which is a two-parter that's coming out over the next couple of weeks. So I'm working on a budget cylinder head service. So not a rebuild. This is a 98,000 mile unleaded 9-on-8 head, which I'm doing helping somebody out. They had a head gasket blow, and I sort of said, I think that head might need some work, and I wasn't wrong. So you'll see that in the video. But the reason why I'm doing it is because it's an opportunity to do a video doing a budget job, rather than everyone can throw a checkbook at and throw the bank balance at making it all new and everything. This wasn't about that. This was about working man's money, trying to keep the car on the road. The person uses it to earn a living. So it's all about that sort of running repairs, that sort of rebuild. So you can look out for that one. Steve Crook, AC, are you doing carburetor refurbishments for private customers now? I know you were only doing trade work earlier this year. I have an HS2 and an HS4 carb that need an overhaul. Please send me a message on Messenger. Probably January, I would say, because I'm full up at the moment. But I am currently doing carburetor work for private people, which will probably stop again when tuning season starts, because as I was saying to TK just before we went live, I've got a bench full of carburetors at the moment, and most of the ones on the bench are for traders. So I've got a lot of carbs on the go at the moment. So Steve, send me a Facebook Messenger post and we'll talk about January. Darren Restorations, tuned cars get driven way more because they are much easier to drive, efficiency and performance. He's not wrong. So, and you'll probably find that as well, TK, is once you tune a car for a customer, they will tell you they drive it more because it's nicer experience.
Yeah, it's exactly right. Yep, they certainly get out in their cars way more often because they're just easier to drive.
Yeah, they start easier, they're just nicer and they're pleasant. And they, don't cost you too much to run, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jones boy, without a wax stat jets and getting a nice idle AFR when hot, is there any way of getting the driving before fully warm better? Yeah, put a wax jet on it. Yeah, that's the whole point. It'll help you with the warm up. So fixed jet carbs won't run right until the car is at full operating temperature. If it takes you 20 minutes to get the full operating temperature, it's going to take you 20 minutes to get the car to run right. So the wax jet is very good at helping you have a slightly richer mixture when it's colder. All right, that's what it's designed for. Same as the bimetallic strip on the HIF carbs. It does the same thing. Okay, another question there. I can't even pronounce that. PWHIJ. Hey guys, finally installed an AFR gauge on my 9-on-8 with stage 1. What road testing should I do to baseline tuning? Ooh, see that word, baseline. I wonder where that came from. Something to do with you, Darren. Well done. And a rough idea on what readings will tell me. Worn AAU needle likely due for replacement. Okay, so what road testing should I do to baseline tuning? Okay, so basically you want to set the idle around, I don't know what ignition system you got. So if you've got a 3-ohm core, you probably want about 13.8 to 14:1. If you've got a 0.8 ohm high power, you probably want 14.2, 14.3, something like that, AFR. And then obviously go for a drive, and you want to select a needle that when you're driving, You want part throttle fueling in the 14s really. And if you've got high power ignition, maybe 14.5, maybe 14.7, maybe even 15. But 14.5 is a good target. And then obviously full power 12.5 when your foot's hard down. And then snap throttle, you probably want to be around, if it's a road car, 13.5, 14, something like that. If it's economy, 14, 14.3, something like that. All right. But at the end of the day, I don't know the wear on your engine. I don't know the ignition system. So I can't really give you figures to go for. The point is, you've got the gauge, so you're going to have to work that out for yourself. Would you want to add anything, TK?
No, I think you hit the nail on the head there.
That's all right.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably going to need a different needle anyway, because
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, an AAU is generally way too lean at part throttle.
Yeah. And also probably a new red spring.
Yes, definitely new springs. Yeah, definitely new springs. Yeah. Interesting. We talk about stage 1 kit there. Obviously, I'm still waiting for the needles to be produced. So I was down at SU today, and nobody said anything. So I'm assuming I know they're ordered, and we're just waiting for the delivery. All right. So I'm just playing the waiting game at the moment. When my new AFA needle is available, then that is a needle that you may find is useful for your stage 1 kits. But it really, as I say, it's not a you must buy this needle. It's just another needle that's available to help you tune your car. All right, without having to modify stuff. Okay, Hayden. I'm not going to say all of that because it's just my dyslexic brain doesn't deal with that. So I'll just call you Hayden. What's the best baseline needle for a 1030 stage 1 kit on a HS4? What's the optimum AFR for idle and cruise? Okay, see, they're all getting down to it now, aren't they? I can't answer that question because I don't know what ignition system you got. I don't know what camshaft you got. You got a 1030 engine that sounds to me like it's modified, but I just need a little bit more information, Hayden, about the spec of your engine and the ignition system you're running. And specifically the coil power. That will be very useful. Okay, someone there fixing a BMW M5 and tuning. You might find this forum or this live chat not for you, because this is all about classic A series engines in classic vehicles with carburetors, etc. Okay, drop kick number 1. Anyone know what coil should be with an AB14 electronic ignition amplifier? I have a 3.2 ohm coil and a 45D. I haven't got a clue what an AB14 electronic ignition amplifier is. Sorry, can't help you. Unless you can, TK.
No, I haven't seen that part number on anything that I've worked on.
No. So it might help us if you can say, an AB14 electronic ignition amplifier. I don't know what that is. So if you can say what it is it original factory one? Is it an aftermarket one? If you can say the manufacturer's name, then that might help us. Smalley. What does that say? Though on the AccuSpark Black Box 3 multi-spark programmable ignition. Thoughts? Thoughts on the AccuSpark. Right, okay, black box. Okay, so I've not used it yet, so I can't tell you anything about it because it's something I haven't played with. I've used the 123 tune Bluetooth one, fantastic. I've obviously, because I sell my own dizzies, then I tend to stick with the more normal but high power ones, and the only high power one at the moment that I know about is the one from PowerSpark, which is why I stock it and why I use it. And that's why all my tuners use, all my trained tuners use as well, because they realise the benefits of the high power setup. Now, I'm not saying AccuSpark don't do that. It's just I don't know because I haven't tried it. Darren's Restorations. Any news about the needles? As I just said earlier, Darren, I was down there earlier. There was no news. but I'm sure it's fairly imminent. So nobody's telling me that there's a major problem. So I'm just assuming that they're just taking a bit longer to make, and it might be because they've never made them before. So they're just waiting to get through all the other orders and then do that as a batch on their own. But SU are on it, rest assured. Okay, Jason Mini. After having a Tuma NL, it's so nice to drive around town, but when you open it up, it's like a rocket ship. Okay, just looking into sorting the fuel pump now, and a good day all round. Thanks. Okay, Jason. Yeah, thanks for booking your car in, but obviously that's a lovely. It's lovely for you to come on and say that, and that's why we do these tuning days, because people can come down and have their car tuned properly and get the full benefit. And obviously, Jason there was I don't know which car you had, Jason, but yeah, that's what they should drive like. Nice to poodle around is, and when you put your foot down, it should haul ass. That's what it's all about.
Any tuning spots before Christmas? It'd be pretty hard pressed to get in before Christmas now. We're booked out about 2 weeks in advance with all the other stuff, and I've got 5 tunes before now on Christmas as it is. Although if you send me a message on Facebook, I may be able to organise something over the Christmas break while we're closed for 2 weeks.
Wow, there you go. He's got an interesting engine. 1275 plus 60 with a 2mm offset Marina crank. Long stroke. Sounds interesting. Plenty of torque in a midget. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be quite an exciting car to drive once it's all dialed in.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'll take it to Anthony's all the way from New Zealand as well, which is fantastic. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty...
So Hayden's just come back with stock cam and 0.9 ignition. That was the question regarding I think that was the AFR readings with the 998. Let me just go back to that question. That's it. Yeah. Best baseline needle for a stage 1 kit on HS4. Okay. So really, I would suggest, if you've got an AFR gauge in it, try an AAF. But even better than that, when my new needle comes out, I would say maybe that's a good place to start. Yeah. That's an AFA needle. It's not available yet, but soon. Okay. So if you can hang on a bit longer. Now, if this is a brand new engine that you haven't run, then I would go leaner. All right. So I would put something like an ABD needle in it for now. All right. It's probably not going to run right because it's still too lean. But the point is, what we need to do is to put a needle in the car, determine what the fueling's doing, and then make the adjustments once you know how it's fueling. All right. What you don't want to do is just go and put a treble A needle in it and wash the rings out of a new engine. That's not a plan. And lots of people do that.
Yeah, I mean, in the last 30 or so cars that I've tuned, I have not once had to fit a AAA needle.
Yeah, there you
just
go.
Too rich.
And that wasn't me saying it. That's TK, in New Zealand. And he's telling you the same thing. And you're not at altitude either, are you? You're kind of sea level.
Yeah, sea level. Yep.
Yeah. So the point is, even with the full atmosphere, you don't need a treble A needle in a 998, and loads of people do that, which is a shame because it damages engines.
Yeah, it's just far too rich.
Yeah. So yeah, I would go with that. And then the most important thing, Hayden, is once you get that in, you need to baseline it. So Darren's put the video out on how to baseline without a gauge, but the point is you need to baseline. So when you put that in, set your AFR gauge so it's idling, and with that 0.9 ohm coil, go for 14.2, 14.3 at idle, and then see how it's fueling from there. Simple as that. Okay. PWHI, low power spark with 3 ohm coil with, okay. I can see a problem here. Yeah. All right. So you've got a 3 ohm coil with a power spark dizzy. This is not a good start. It's a variable dwell, so you haven't got enough coil power. So then you want a 1.5 ohm coil. If it's the low power module, you want a 1.4 or 1.5 ohm coil, and you only want 25 thou plug gap. All right. So 0.63, not 0.8. That's too big. All right. Yeah, wanted to change to a 1.5 ohm core, but unsure if the P string is that the P4 module can handle it. If it's a PM4, that will be fine for a 1.4 or a 1.5 ohm. If it's the PM5 or the M5, that will handle a 0.8 ohm coil. All right, so that's all you got to remember. But with a 3 ohm coil, you're going to have problems, especially at 0.8 millimeter gap. All right, you need to come right down to 25 there. Yeah, and PWH has come back. Might hold off on your needle on the needle place until your needle is on the market. Yeah, won't be long.
Maybe 14 was made by Lucas. Some of the understanding it came out of a Jag 12, out of a 1275 GT Leylands, and they also came out in Jags.
Yeah, not used it.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you. Sorry,
neither.
Sorry, Dropkick. Can't give you an answer on that. I've got no experience with it. Bill Beard, what do I need to know to choose the right coil for the ignition system? Let me help you answer that. What ignition system have you got? And then we'll try that answer. We'll try that way around. Jason, Mini. Okay, yeah, it was the blue one with the 1, 2, 3 tune with your hybrid needle. Nice one. Yeah, that one will go. Yeah, we'll go fast. That was using the. That was one of the cars that used the RI needle with the fixed needle that was converted to the bias type that SU did for me. Yeah, okay. That one went very well, didn't it, Jason? So yeah, I'm glad you brought it down. It was a good example. Darren's got a question for you there. TK, besides tuning, what other services do you provide?
So yeah, here at Hannah Motor Services, we do warrant fitness inspections, which is basically like an MOT in some respects. Wheel alignments, servicing, basically just general automotive repairs. There's not really a job we will say no to, which is great, but it can also put us in deep. But it's in some cases it's can make us learn really quick. The boss and I are pretty keen to get into anything. At the moment, I'm doing valve stem seals in place on a 2006 or 2007 Suzuki Grand Vitara. So yeah, there's nothing we really say no to. I mean, we've both grown up on farms, so we've worked on tractors and all sorts of stuff. But yeah, we just about do everything. But in the way of minis, engines, gearboxes, diffs, basically all the repairs right throughout an entire mini, auto electrical as well. We dabble in that as well. I wouldn't say we specialize in auto electrical, but I mean, on a mini, they're pretty simple.
You also do obviously carb rebuilds as well.
Yes, certainly do carburetors.
Yeah. So that's useful to know. And the other thing that TK's mentioned earlier for those people is that those people that only just joined recently is that TK is going to be doing the distributor training that I offer via Darren Haines. So he will be able to do dizzy recurves as well. And that's not just for minis. That'll be for pretty much any car that he certainly that he can then mount on his dizzy machine and spin it.
Yeah, that's it. So, which I'm obviously really looking forward to. I've got some reading to do before I get there. Someone asked me some questions the other night, and again, I don't know who that could have been, though. AC.
No comment. Yeah. Okay, so. Hayden's just come back. Thanks. Where can we buy one of your new needles when it's available? Straight from Berlin Fuel Systems in the UK and Mini Spares. All right. So those are the two places to get it. Now, I'm sure other suppliers will soon take that on, but that's initially who I've certainly, clearly SU are going to do that at Berlin, but I've set up Mini Spares to they're going to supply it. I also understand that they might be supplying it with their stage 1 kits, but that I haven't had that conversation. I've just let them know that would be a good idea. I'll let them decide what they're going to do. But I also understand it will be available to buy separately as well.
I'd just like to add regarding needles, if you the ones that you get from Berlin are a lot closer to book spec than what you'd get from nearly anywhere else. Especially here in New Zealand, I've found so many different variations of the same coated needle, especially while tuning twin issues. That was an eye opener. Is that not always the same needle, although they say they are?
Yes. So I too have found some needles that have been made by other people that are not the same tolerances. So certainly in my experience, the ones that I've seen, we're not going to name any names here, but the ones I've seen don't match the tolerances produced by Berlin Fuel Systems, SU, and obviously the SU brand. So just bear that in mind if you're having needles and you're buying them and they're not necessarily maybe the original ones, then the tolerances, certainly in our experiences, are a little bit wider than perhaps would be ideal, if that makes sense.
It's not a terrible thing at the end of the day. It just means we've got more needles to choose from without having to modify them.
Yes. I think I had a very similar conversation the other day with Darren regarding springs. Something very similar. And I said, no, there's no need to worry because actually we've got more springs.
Yeah.
So from a tuner's point of view, quite like them to be like that because it just gives you more variation. It is nice if the needles are certainly all the same. Doesn't matter if they're wrong as long as they're repeatable, but that's not always the case. So it's an interesting find. Yeah.
I certainly like to go needle hunting when I'm doing a tune before I start modifying. It's like, no, I want to try and get one that's nearly bang on.
Yeah.
And only just give it a whisker if I can.
Yeah.
But
and that is because it's a lot easier to just do a small adjustment than it is to do a great big one.
Changing like an ADE needle into a ABD.
Yeah, exactly. So Anthony Blackwell's good man TK, quite exciting but never properly dialed in. We'll message you. So this is the guy with the interest in 1275 and image it.
I'll look out for that message, Anthony.
Ian Ray, I'm finding a big difference between free revving and actually cruising, e.g. at 4,000 14.5 free revving but around 15.5 to 16 when cruising. Is this normal? Obviously I know that's weak. It's too weak. So it needs a tweak. So that's why having a wideband in your car is a good thing. So and that's not the same for everybody, but that does happen. So you obviously need a little bit more richer in the needle in that particular point in the rev range.
Yeah, there could be something else contributing to that as well. But you do need to get that looked at because that's not quite right.
Yeah. Dropkick number 1, thanks. Okay. PWHI, sorry. PS Power Spark. Okay. We'll go and grab a 1.5 ohm core and get it running as well as I can until the needle's available. 1.5 ohm core with your Power Spark will work fine. Doesn't matter what module you have, that'll work. All right. But make sure you get your plug gap at 25 thou. That's the most important thing. So, asking about your tuning tour. Go ahead.
Yes, I have probably about 3 or 4 slots left on the entire run.
Wow, that's well booked. Yeah,
it's certainly getting up there. I do have I do need to put a video update on that because I'll be starting in Wellington, going up to eventually I'll be getting to Pookie, to Classic Mini Spares up there for a couple of days, and then through to Auckland to a place called Piperworks, and then I'll be travelling back down the west coast, doing some tuning in I believe New Plymouth and Palmerston North before getting back to Wellington to do any that I couldn't complete, or there might be additional ones. But send me a message and I'll see if I can fit you in anywhere.
Okay, so I mean, it's great that you got people from New Zealand on here. So, well, thank you for bringing them in.
Yeah.
So we welcome you all the way from New Zealand, which is fantastic because for you guys, this is a work morning, so you're all skiving, which is fantastic. So
No one's
I
making any
really,
money.
yeah. Okay, so Phil's come back on. TKAC. Do you get the HS4 spindle bushes from Mini Spares or Berlin? Or are they from the same stock? Got the ultrasonic clear. Okay, right. Just to answer this correctly, I use Berlin fuel systems because they're less than 1.5 miles from my house. Okay, so I go down there and they sort me out with what all my. I mean, they are. To be fair, I'm surprised they haven't kicked me out yet because I am, sometimes a bit annoying when I say, "Oh, could I just, can I open this box?" And I don't want this. Can I have this butterfly? And can I have that? And I don't really. And they absolutely sort me out with everything I need. All my silly requests, they absolutely, help me out knowing. So, mini spares, obviously, they're miles away from me, and I can't necessarily go rummaging around their store. Now, Berlin would let me go out and have a rummage in the bins if I needed to. All right, so that they are fantastic, right, for me. So that's why I use that service, because for me it's absolutely invaluable. All right, so I will always recommend Berlin purely because they are uber helpful. Mini Spares are a fantastic company selling parts. So really, it's up to you where you want to spend your money. But at the end of the day, when people want parts from me, they tend to know that I stock genuine SU parts. All right. So I have to go to the factory and get the genuine parts. That's what I'm known for. So I use the genuine stuff from Berlin. All right. But I've also used parts from Mini Spares. I still use bits and pieces from Mini Spares that I can't get from anywhere else. So, they supply me all my uh, distributor hookup cables. I buy all my spark plugs from Mini Spare, So I can't do business without all these firms. All right. So if you start asking me who's better, well, certain companies are better for certain things and certain companies are better for other things. All right. I'm not going to buy spark plugs from Berlin. All right, because they're a carburetor company. So the point is, if you want to get your parts, get them from the place that you feel most comfortable from getting them from, and have got the best experience with. All right, so that's my advice to you, really.
Yeah, I mean, I get my my issue stuff from Berlin simply because it's issue at the end of the day. I can get it locally, but with the amount that I'm ordering, it's just easier to flick an email through to them, and then in a couple of weeks the parts arrive. Yeah, I've got to wait a while, but it's the nature of the beast living on this side of the planet. So I can't just walk around the corner.
No, sorry.
Well, I mean, I could. There is a stockist here in Christchurch, but yeah, I don't know how long that stuff's
I think
been
you're
sitting on the
known for
shelf.
cleaning him out now, aren't you? Cleaning him out.
You just about think so. I've had a few phone calls. I mean, he's busy doing his own thing, so yeah, I'm not gonna try and push anyone out. But yeah, obviously, I'm just getting more and more busy with issues. But
Cool.
yeah, with stuff from like Mini Spares, I don't often order through them simply because it's freight. But then at the end of the day, I can get stuff overnight from the guys in Classic Mini Spares up in Te Puke. So yeah, that's easy enough for me.
Yeah.
And they get it all from Mini Spares UK anyway.
Yeah.
Well,
okay. So
mostly.
Bill Beard, it's just come back with a 59D Alden with igniter. So what would you recommend? Okay, so the question is here. You can either contact Alden and ask them, but the way I would look at it is I would use the dwell meter. If it's fixed dwell, so if it's running sort of 55, 60 degrees of dwell, then it's a 3 ohm coil or a 2.5. Yeah. If it's a variable dwell unit, it will most likely run a 1.4 to 1.5 ohm coil without a ballast resistor. I wouldn't go any lower than that unless Alden says to you that it can. All right. So that's where I would sit. I am not aware at the moment that there are other suppliers that will run the 0.8 ohm coil. That doesn't mean to say that they can't. It's just I'm not aware at this moment in time. All right. So if someone contacts me and says, "Oh yeah, I was a fire 0.8 ohm coil," then I'm then aware. All right. But right now, the only one I'm aware of is the original 65D distributor from the factory, and obviously the Power Spark units, which I sell, and obviously I recommend to people and all my trained tuners as well, because they come in two flavors, which is the standard power, which is 3 ohms down to 1.4, and then the high power one, which is a 0.8. Okay, Ian Ray, sorry if I wasn't clear. I was asking if you would expect to see a difference between free revving and cruising. Oh, that's a different question. Right, so normally there isn't much, okay, but there can be, and that's why you have to measure. Simple.
Yeah, measure everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there shouldn't be too much of a difference. If anything, I'd nearly expect it to be either bang on or a little bit richer. If it's going leaner, obviously it's something's going on in there. Like it's not set up properly.
Yeah.
I wouldn't personally expect it to go like leaner than what it's typically set to within a couple of points.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Hopefully that helps you, Ian. We've got no more questions for the moment. We've got 42 people online, so thanks very much for the 42 people that have joined us. Now, we've only got 30 likes, so if some of those are online and haven't given us a like, if you can give us a thumbs up, that would be fantastic. That helps us out, which is what it's all about, and it helps us to help you, which is got to be good, as they say. So while we're waiting for more questions, I've got going to ADO Restorations, as I mentioned earlier, for a long tuning weekend. I'm also taking part with Ed Westby's up north again, which is I think 1 month earlier. He's going to be doing a tuning weekend, so I've got that one booked in the calendar. And then I've got another new one down this way, and I can't even remember when that one is. But that's a local firm, Wincanton way down here, and he's going to do a tuning weekend. So yeah, things are looking up, which is fantastic. I've also been invited to Rustival as well. I don't know what that entails at the moment, other than going to go along and be part of the YouTube community, because that show is, as far as I understand, it's run, it's organised by YouTubers for people who like classic cars. So I've been invited along there. So I shall see how it goes, which is fantastic. So you want to tell us a little bit more about your tour that you're going on, TK?
Well, it's mainly a spread the word tour, essentially, to get it all out there, because obviously we've got nationals for the mini clubs here in Christchurch next year, and so one of those days I'll be doing tuning if anyone's interested in that. But yeah, it's 2 weeks on the road. Essentially, I'll be working out of our Toyota Hiace van and stopping off at certain places
and a trailer full of spark plugs, I should imagine.
Yeah, you'd nearly think so. Does that mean I get one of those shirts as well?
Actually, I think I've got one on today. Oh no, it's not today. Beg your pardon. It's a grey shirt. No, I've been wearing them the last couple of days, but I haven't got one on today. I thought I had, because it's a grey shirt, but it's not. So for those that are watching, TK's referring to the fact I've got a load of free stuff from NGK, because I'm part of their Box Clever program. So you send all your spark plug boxes back and you get free stuff. So I've managed to get a fair bit of free stuff out of them recently, because I purchased a lot of spark plugs, Doing my bit for Mini Spares' bottom line because they supply them all to me, which is fantastic. So I get through a lot of plugs, in case you hadn't noticed. So yeah,
I've got a drawer full of spark plugs too.
Yeah, exactly. So my advice to you when you go out on the road is spark plugs, some HT leads. Now, I would also suggest for you, because your clientele's slightly different to mine. Over here, I tend to get people that have already fitted all new stuff. So they've got new points and new condensers and all that sort of stuff, and maybe leads, but maybe air filters. So I've bought online K&Ns this year, which has been very useful, especially for the little tiny air filters on the HS2s or the early minis.
Oh, yes.
Right. Those standard ones are terrible. So having a few K&Ns that you can put in, and then obviously your if you've got the one with a plastic air box, take yourself a cone drill and a battery drill so you can improvise airflow on the spot.
That's it. I'm planning on taking a couple of distributors with me, sets of leads, all basically my churning trolley. It's got nearly everything in it. I'll be taking a couple of carburetors with me in case I encounter one that's absolutely toast. I'm guessing I probably will, because they just that's the point. I've been trying to make on some of the mini pages here.
Yeah, it might be worth letting some of your customers know actually beforehand that if you're going to go on the road tuning, that if they think their carburetor's worn or if they want to have a look at it themselves, then maybe they should buy one ahead of time and fit it so it's ready for you. That would be a plan.
That means I can spend less time on their car and go over to the next one, or at least I can plan to have so many on hand. But yeah, I'm kind of amazed on how many carburetors that I've had to go through, and find that they've got throttle shaft play, and that's why a lot of these a lot of the photos I'm putting up, the torch through here, and they're just letting light through.
Well, what I'll do at the moment is I'll just give people an idea of how many carburetors go through. So if everything I put up here is not the same carb. All right. So here's one. Okay. So this is how many carbs are on my bench at the moment I'm working on. Right. Here's two. That's another carb. Right. Here's three. That's another carb. Right. Here's four. That's another carb. Right. And then I've got a bag in front of me with two bodies that I've got to work on. Right. So, that's 5 and 6. And if I look hard enough, I've got number 7 just hiding there, right, which is a HI44. So right in front of me is my carb assembly bench, and it is currently bursting with carburetors because I'm just trying to keep up with demand. So, people say to me, oh, can you just do us a carb and I'll pick it up in 2 weeks? It's like, what? No. No. So
am I not allowed to sleep?
Yeah. So I do have a stock of carbs, but if you've got twin carbs, they need to be done. So you have to join a queue. All right. But I do have a stock of basic stuff like HS4s and HS2s and HIFs, etc. So I can supply those, off the shelf. But sometimes people want their own carb rebuilt, and I understand that, but then they have to wait. All right. So I think the point is when it comes to tuning, you're already finding this. You need spares. You need decent carburetors. You need distributors. You've got to have the right advance curves and all this stuff. Otherwise, you can't. You can't do an excellent job, which is what you need to be able to do.
Yeah. I mean, so far the cars that I've been doing, there's only been probably about half a dozen that the advance curves have been absolutely, lacking, or they've just been too much.
Yeah.
But that's part of going through them, is working out, what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah. So Matt Steele's come back. How did you find your first set of twin carbs, TK?
Now that was an experience.
I'm going to sit back and eat me popcorn now. Watch.
They took 10 hours to properly dial in. those carburetors had been reconditioned, like basically had kits thrown at them, essentially, including throttle shafts. They were a fairly decent set, I will admit. But yeah, between the pistons not being quite right, the dampeners, one was sticking. There was and then the needles, trying to match the needles was the next thing, getting them basically bang on between the left and the right. But yeah, that was an experience. But that one I did get on the board of ACs. That one's doing 51 miles to the gallon, I believe.
It is.
So yeah, it was well worth it.
And it's not just 51 miles to the gallon. It goes well when you put your foot down as well, doesn't it?
Oh yeah. No, it rips. It rips when you want it to.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the beauty of twin carbs. I did my own as well, as one of my videos. Ever so briefly, I didn't actually go into great detail because I'd already selected a needle that was basically bang on. I only needed to tweak the oils in that and the idle mixture, essentially, and the ignition timing. So with a wee bit of dumb luck, I actually got pretty close with my own. But it still took me. I mean, the amount of time I spent on my car trying to get it right before doing the training, I spent probably about 10 or so hours of bad information on the internet and mucking around with it, like Googling, I have this engine, what size, no, what needles do I need? And going through all the forums, and everyone's got a different opinion. It's like, So yeah, I got led astray massively on that, but then I ended up just putting a needle in, basically getting it. Oh yeah, it idles right. Take it for a drive. Oh no, it's too lean. It feels too lean. Go to the next needle. Oh, this feels great. And yeah, I wasn't actually too far off with my end selection. But yeah, twins are good fun.
So I think the reason why Matt's asking, he's got his first set of twins coming up, so he's just waiting to see. Yeah.
If they're reconditioned, right. If they're not, recondition them.
Yeah.
And obviously the O2 sensor and the exhaust and everything else, so you can get all the ratings while you're driving it too.
Yeah.
But yeah, the second set were more exciting for me. They were not reconditioned. I mean, they'd had kits, but they hadn't been gone through entirely. They had mismatched pistons, mismatched floats. It was a bit of a dog's breakfast. Yeah, but the customer was still really pleased with how it went after I got it all sorted. And that one only took me, I think it was 5 or 6 hours on that one. So it does vary, but I mean, obviously, I'm going to have to go back through that car again in the future when he's got a matching set of carburetors.
Yeah. My record for dialing in a pair of the fastest I've ever dialed in a pair of twin HS4s was 45 minutes, and that's because Lady Luck was shining on them. I'd already built them, but it was on a dyno, and I managed to get them bang on in 45 minutes. However, that's exceptional. Yeah. Moreover, it's more like 3.5 to 4 hours for me to dial them in. Yeah. And I've done a few hundred. Yeah. So they just take time. All right. Especially when they're not playing the game. And that's why you normally find me when somebody says, I've got some twins to come out. Can you have a look? It's like, no. Are they rebuilt? No. Well, rebuild them before I come out, because otherwise you'll be having me out twice, cost you a fortune. So
yeah.
Just have them rebuilt and then tune them once and they'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So, Patrick, when I drop the clutch on a race start on my Austin Ely 3000, goes full rich, the point where it bogs down heavily. Is this typical or could it be stiff? You got some problem with the calibration. Yeah. Something's wrong with the calibration. That's not right. So, I can't tell you what it is because I'd have to come over and see what it's doing, have a look at the springs, have a look at the carburetors and the needles that are fitted, and do some measurements. So I can't actually tell you what that needs. or what's causing that. But the point is the calibration isn't right. So if you dump the clutch on an engine, the carburetors on twins, they do go rich, especially if you, like a dyno is a classic one, when you put your foot down at 2,000 revs and the load comes on and then they go rich. Okay, you can't stop that, but that really depends on how you're driving. Now, when you're saying a race start, generally speaking, when you dump the clutch, you don't let the engine bog, so you shouldn't have that issue. All right, you should be pulling that clutch in hard, but keeping the engine running up on cam. So I would say that there's a problem with the calibration, or there's a problem with the the dampers, or something's not right in there, which is causing that. I'm not saying you're going to get it perfect, but you should get it a lot better than actually just cutting out because it's going too rich. So you definitely need to look at that, but I haven't got an answer for you because I would need to be there listening to it, measuring stuff and understanding what's going on.
I'd also like to know what they class as full rich as a measurement.
Well, I think he referred to full rich point that bogs down. So it's literally putting the fire out. She just cuts out. So that's probably 9 to 1, something like that. Yeah, just literally putting the fire out.
Yeah.
Okay. Chris Godfrey, hi, just joined the chat. I have had an engine recondition and the idle is bad. Put a vacuum gauge on it and it is a low reading and erratic. Thought would be appreciated. All right, what cam's in the engine? That's the first question I've got for you.
Yeah, that could be a number of things.
Yeah. Or it could also be an air leak as well. So let's just have a look, see what cam's in the engine, what specs the engine really. That's if Chris can get back to us on that, that would be great. Darren's restorations. I'm looking forward to doing some air filter housing testing with the twin scoop housing. Yep. So that's his video he just put out as he got it sent from Classic Mini Workshop, and they sent over the twin take air filter box. Well, it's the I was going to say twin. It's not a twin take. It's somebody's own version, a DIY version they did many years ago. But it was on a car that Classic Mini Workshop purchased, and obviously I tuned it when I went down there to do did a tuning day for them, and it performed very well on the Super City. And Darren has actually requested that, and it's now in that air filter box is now in Colorado in the United States, and Darren's going to got his little mitts on it, and he's going to give it some testing. I'm not sure how it's going to work with Darren because he's at high altitude. So I'm not sure if that filter is going to be as good as it would be at sea level, but we will all learn something, won't we? So Darren is going to definitely play with that, and then hopefully that will be educational for us all. Yeah, he's just saying, hi Chris, my video on baselining will be helpful to you. Yeah, Phil Huggett, looking forward to Darren's video on the modified airbox he received the other day. We'll be interested to see what, if any, gains. Yeah, absolutely. No, you still reconditioned, lol. Yeah, we all know that. And I get this as well with punters that say to me, "Oh, I've had them rebuilt and they're reconditioned," and you come out and the spindles are all wobbly, and it's like, no, you haven't.
Yeah,
and
I'll show you one that's
to be
reconditioned.
fair, it's not the owner's fault. They paid money in good faith, and somebody's not sold them the proper job. That's really what it's come down to. So yeah, sometimes I'm the giver of, or the bringer of bad news, when it's like, well, these carbs can't hold the fuel in because they're worn, and it's like, but I've had them rebuilt, and it's like, well, that's a loose term when you say rebuilt. You've had a few new parts fitted, but they're certainly not rebuilt. So that's the problem you have. One thing you have to remember with twin carbs, okay, is look at it this way. If you've got a single carb, then you have all the airflow going through one carb. Now, you've only got one jet and one lot of air leaks. As soon as you have twin carbs, you've got twice as many air leaks. Then you've got half the amount of fuel and air through each carb. So actually, you've got 4 times the dilution potential. All right. And this is why twin carbs are so much more finicky, is because the tolerances need to be that much better to control all those leaks. All right. That's the real problem with twins or triples or quadruple SUs. Once you get up to triples, really should be using, full shaft seals and all the rest of it. And then these things will work beautifully. But if you've got leaky open seals, it's very difficult to get a very nice fueling curves. And that's why single carbs are a lot easier to tune, because there's a lot less dilution of the incoming fuel charge with air leaks, because there's less air leaks to have. Unfortunately, when you have twins, you've got a lot more air leaks and, half the amount of fuel coming out. So you've got a massive problem. Kathy's Macar, Candy, have run into the problem of a 1275 thrust bearings in standard size being manufactured too thick. Darren agrees, and not flat.
And not flat.
Can't check M-flow. Well, I have. So this is not new. Okay. There were engines produced from the factory that required special undersize thrusts. There are only a few thou, so it's like 3 or 4 thou something. But I've had a few that's like that. And the way around it is you just have the shells ground, the thrust is ground. So you take them down the machine shop and they take a few thou off the back. Jobs are good. All right. So that's how you have to get around that problem. It costs money. I actually machine them on my milling machine here. So, but grinding them at a machine shop, an engine shop is the way forward for you. And the way to do it is, if you take your engine apart, you have a worn thrust, okay, that comes out of the thrust, the thrust loaded side of the block. Use the worn thrust, measure it, put that in with one of your new ones, and see if you can get the right clearance. And then it gives you an idea of the size of the thrust that you need. All right. And equally, if you put in a set of worn thrusts, or the thrusts that come out of it, and you know what the clearance is, you just measure those thrusts, okay, and then the clearance, and then you have your new shells ground to those sizes, plus whatever thickness that you need to take up, right, to give you the end float you want. It's easy. So this isn't difficult. I do agree that the thrust washers aren't flat, so I have been known to machine them flat before I put them in. Makes the engine bedding in a lot nicer. So I fly cut mine on the top surface to get them flat, because they're not. All right, so that's a common thing. Okay, Darren's just come back and said, I had a pair of twins that took 8 days due to very poor previous work. Yeah, I think he's been scarred. He's been scarred for life over that car.
I think he was doing that one while I was doing my first set of twins.
He was, yeah.
And yeah. So yeah, mine only took 10 hours, Darren.
We've got a lovely question there from Hayden. I'll let you answer this, TK. You'll know the answer to this.
There is no oil that we can recommend without measuring what's coming out the exhaust. Yeah. We need to know what it's doing before we can even suggest anything. But it's car by car basis. It's what's good for one car is not good for another.
Absolutely. So the point is, Hayden, what dashboard oil would you normally recommend? I carry 9 grades when I'm tuning. And what I do is I come out to the car and I put a grade, any of the grades in, and I see how it responds. And once I know how it responds by measurement, then I adjust that oil grade until I get where I need to be. All right. So there isn't an oil off the shelf that you can put in that's just right. That's why you have to measure it. All right. It would be lovely if we did. So if we just take, look in your manual, it'll tell you to put engine oil in. If you talk to Berlin, they'll say put 20 weight oil in. Any of those are a good starter. They may not be right, or they may be perfect. The point is, you have to start somewhere. So any oil is a good place to start. Simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, because Berlin have the one grade, Penrite over here have the one grade. I mean, you carry 9. I have 7 on hand.
Yeah,
It's
but you've because you've done the training and now you've had experience, you now know.
Yep. So no one oil is right for all cars or two cars. Even if you had the exact same engines with the same carburetors, they're going to take very likely taking two different needles and different oils.
Yeah. So all these carburetors that I showed earlier on the bench, there were 5. There's actually 5 carburetors here on the bench. They'll all have different oil, right? But I don't know what that is till it's on the engine and running. And not only that, the needle has to be correct, the spring has to be correct, and then you choose the oil, right? So you can't, I see loads of questions on forums. It's like, what oil should I be putting? I've changed this and I've changed that. I don't know why people are even changing their oil when the carburetor's not tuned in the first place. So you can't change your oil if the needle's not right, the spring's not right. All right, the oil and the damper are the last things that are done to finish the carb tune off. Can't stress that enough. But what it is for people, it's easy for them to just change the oil, right? And they're trying to look for their car to go better. And I understand that if you've got a car that's potentially a bit lean and you put some thick oil in the dashpot, it's going to run better, right, on the acceleration because it's rich in the fuel up, right? That makes perfect sense. It's not right, yeah, but it's better. Anyway, okay.
So on to the next one.
Yeah. Kathy's McCarthy. Yeah, Darren slapped me on not saving the old thrusts. Darren, I love it. Yeah, so the old thrusts unfortunately would have been very useful. So one of the mistakes people make when they strip an engine and rebuild it is they throw all the old stuff away. Last thing you do is throw all the old stuff away. Right, so you take it out and you put it to one side so you've all got it there because it does have uses, right? May not necessarily go back in your engine, right? But it might be helpful for working out piston deck heights from your piston crown heights and all this sort of stuff, right?
This is from my last engine rebuild.
Right.
So the engine's in the car. The engine runs.
In the car. He still has the parts.
This isn't getting thrown out until the car leaves.
Yeah. And so please take it from TK. TK does this and gets paid for it, right? He's a professional, right? He doesn't throw stuff away until he's absolutely finished with it, right? And then even then, like thrust washers, you might put them in a little bag and put them on the shelf because you never know when you might need one for sizing purposes, right? Not necessarily putting it in a fresh build, but they have other uses.
Although some people do use them in rebuilds.
Anyway,
if they're flat and they're not worn and they're in spec, there's I don't see anything wrong with it.
See, no, that's exactly right. If they're in spec and they're working, right, that's absolutely fine. It's when they're worn out that's when there's an issue. Yeah. Okay. Neil Bedford says hi. Okay, Darren's Restorations. For your information, I've seen many sale prices this week on AFR kits, AM, Innovate, etc. Yeah, so Black Friday, coming up to Black Friday, if you want to buy an AFR kit, do it. This is the time to do it. You'll get a good deal. Absolutely. So thanks for that, Darren, and remind us because I think we've all been shopping. I've been shopping this week and spending money, and Darren's been doing the same, buying things because we're all getting shoved the deals from the internet. You want to buy this because it's Black Friday, and then you look at the price, you think it's not bad actually. Anyway, okay, so no more questions for the minute. So yes, if anybody's out there that is thinking of investing in training for you or your mechanics, if you're a garage that's looking at training your mechanics to be able to do tuning, or perhaps you're a mobile mechanic and you're looking to go to the next level and be able to really dial these cars in. I've had one mobile mechanic contact me in the last month who's interested in training. So I know that there are people out there that are looking to do that. It would be excellent if we're in a situation where perhaps the government might change the rules on classic cars and they might tighten up the emissions if we've got a network of people out there that can actually dial those in. So the reality is, you know, there is enough business out there to support classic car, you know, trained tuners to be able to maintain the cars properly. And it makes happy customers, and you know it works all round. So at the end of the day, I don't think we're going to have one in every town, but we certainly could have a few more than we've got now, because that will make a big difference to the classic car industry in the UK. Obviously, TK reached out from all the way over from New Zealand, and he's the only one that's had ACDodd training in New Zealand. So and it's going absolutely great guns for him. So all I'm saying is, if you've got a lot of classic cars and you've got a garage, you could really use this to boost your business. That's certainly you know, something that you need to be able to consider, and obviously offer your customers, because at the end of the day, this is a dying you know, part of the market, and there is very few skills left that can actually do that. So one of the things I'm trying to do is to make sure that there is a legacy of trained people that can actually do this going forward, because you know, I'm not going to be around forever. Yeah, all right, I'm only 51, but you know, I'm not the fittest person in the world. So at the end of the day, if there are other mechanics out there that are doing this that are younger than I am, that's a good thing, right? And he's the youngest one so far, so which is excellent. So right, okay, Rachel, would you ever use different grade dashboard oil on each carb on a set of twins? See, now there is somebody that's thinking, right? So I'll answer that question truthfully. I used to. So many years ago, when I started tuning, I would actually put a different oil in each carb to you know, to match them, and then I worked out an easier way of doing it. So what I now do, see, for the owner, I even used to mix my oils, right? But if the owner wants to top it up, this becomes a problem. So the easiest way to do it is you use the same oil in each dash pot, and then you modify the dampers to give you the same effect. All right. So the way I do it now is we use the same oil in each carburetor for a pair of twins, or if there was 4 carburetors, we'd use the same oil in all 4 carburetors. But I would modify each damper to respond the same as the others. All right. So all 4 in a quad installation, for example, would respond the same, all using the same oil. That's the way to do it. What you don't want to do is make it difficult for the owner to say you've got to put 530 in this one and then you've got to put 60 weight in the other one, because that's a recipe for disaster. But for your own cars, there is no harm in putting different oils in, as long as you know what you're doing. All right, and then you're trying to match the effects, then that's absolutely fine. But from a business point of view, customers don't want that. What they want is one oil, and they want to know what that oil is. So that's why I now do modify the dampers to react the same with the same oil in each carb. That's the way to do it. But very good question, Rachel. So I'll give you the award tonight for the most sharpest question, because that's a very good question. So well done.
Yeah, there was one tuning video you did a while ago. I can't remember what sort of car it was, but he had the twin AFR gauges, one for the front and one for the back.
Yeah, it was a Triumph Spitfire. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, and you were able to modify the needles individually.
Yeah, so that literally ended up with 2 different needles. They were nominally the same, but they were different needles. Okay, and that is because I was able to use the wideband to get both of the carburetors to respond the same, because it had a twin reading, and that engine was sharp. That was a very nice engine once it was tuned, but it was only because we had the twin gauges on it that we were able to go, why is this one lagging behind the other one? So you know, I adjusted the other one of the carbs more than the other, and then I got the needles to be virtually bang on, which was fantastic. And it was nice to hear the engine was beautiful once we tuned it. Matt Steele, Darren's Restorations. Have you used both the AEM and the Innovate? If so, which do you prefer? As a question for you, Darren, if you're still online, I know Darren's travelling today, so he may not be online, but so just bear with us, Matt, there, because if he's travelling and he's not online, he may not see that. So we'll see.
Oh no, he's answered it further down.
Oh no, he's already done it. Okay, all right. That's me because I'm so far behind. Apologies, Matt. All right. Okay, Chris Godfrey. Camshaft from a classic mini spares Evolution, 107 degrees. Have checked with 360-degree wheel. Comes in at 105. Okay. This is an Austin 1300. Okay. So what vacuum reading are you getting? You know, you said the vacuum's low. What's the vacuum figure you're getting? All right. So if you can get back to us, Chris, with that would be fantastic. Yeah, Darren's Restoration. I've only used the Innovate, no experience with the AEM. However, they do seem quite good. So have you used the AEM, TK?
No, I only use the Innovate.
Okay. So, well, I haven't got either, but I have used the AEM and the Innovate because I've come out to customers that have got both fitted. And I prefer the Innovate. All right. It seems to be a smoother, less finicky reading. It's not that the AEM doesn't work. It does because I can tune cars, but I just like the way the gauge reads better on the Innovate product. All right. So if I was investing in one based on my experience of using them in different applications, I would buy an Innovate. That's just purely based on, I don't care what the price is. In terms of the numbers, I like the numbers and the way the Innovate works. The other thing is, Ross Thomas over at Thomas Classic Modern has got the handheld, the proper tuners tool, and that is a lovely reading on that gauge. So that's a possibility as well. So the Innovate product is very good. Rich Weston, I'm looking at an fuel pressure regulator. Yeah. Can I fit the setup at home until I can get a tune booked? Yeah. You can fit the regulator at home, but you need to get the one with a fuel pressure gauge, so you can actually set the pressure. All right. So you don't just buy the regulator. You need to be able to have a gauge that you can tee in line to set the pressure with. All right. There are some options available online. I'm actually going to buy one next year. A little online tee. I think I normally use the vacuum pressure gauge, but it kind of stinks, and fills it up with fuel and stuff like that. So I think I'm going to buy one of these little tiny ones that I can just put in line very quickly, that sits under the bonnet. So they are available. I think you can get a gauge for like 40, 50 quid, something like that. Okay, Rachel's back again. I don't even have a carb, as I've got an MPI, but I still like learning. Well, that's a very good question. Have you solved a problem with sticking revs by changing my plastic throttle body for an alloy one though? Okay, so no, but I've heard of that issue. So
I think they've just sorted out a problem. Okay. They've just solved a problem with sticking revs.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't read it right. So thanks for correcting me, TK. That's my dyslexic mind making things up when I'm reading stuff. Okay. Well done, Rachel, for doing that.
Yeah.
I have heard of that issue, and I usually refer to Andy at ML Motorsport or Ross Thomas over at Thomas from Classic and Modern. They're two quite useful people when it comes to the injection cars. And I certainly know Andy has had a number of issues with ECUs and having to have them repaired for idle issues, and also plastic throttle bodies and various things not sitting or sticking properly. Okay, so Chris Godfrey, erratic vacuum between 13 and 15. Okay, so something doesn't sound right there, Chris. I would say on that cam you should be around 16, maybe 17 degrees, 17 inches. Are you at sea level or are you at altitude? Because I don't know where you are. So if you can tell us your altitude, that might give us a better understanding of what's going on. The other thing I would suggest you do is give it a compression test, just to understand what's going on in the chambers and see if you've actually got equal readings and whether they're low or high. and that might help us understand a bit more what's going on. So I'll tell you what you might want to do. We're not going to get the answer for you tonight on here, but you might want to drop me a line on Facebook Messenger, and then I can try and help you as you get more information. But I'm going to need you to go and do some testing to work out what's going on. All right. So if you're at altitude, 13 to 15 inches of vacuum is not bad, but I don't know where you're at. So we just need a little bit more information. Yeah, I love Darren. He's like my director. Right. Remind viewers
them
about what fuel pressure to use for which carb setup. Yeah, okay, he's got a point. So so HS, I'll use Darren's carbs for this because this is one of Darren's carbs. So HS4 carbs or HS carbs. So HS2, HS4, HS6. You need sort of 1.3 to 1.5 max. 1.5 is the top pressure. All right. So no more than 1.5 psi for this type of carburetor. If you've got the HIF carb, again, I have one here, which is fantastic. Then you need to be using more like 2 to 2.5 psi. If you've got a turbo, 3.5 psi. But in reality, 2 to 2.5 psi on a road mini is absolutely fine. So sometimes even the standard parts can come up giving too much pressure. Okay, so for example, I was only looking at a video I did about 8 weeks ago, and there was a car with an HS2 carburetor on it that had 4.5 pounds of fuel pressure being shoved into it, and I couldn't stop it leaking. Well, it's too much pressure, and actually it looked like the engine had been maybe transplanted out of a Metro, or at least it had a Metro fuel pump put on it, which is made for this. And a fuel pump made for this won't work with a HS type carburetor, and that's something to bear in mind. So even the mechanical pumps are different, and that's what people don't understand. So the other thing is, a lot of the aftermarket pumps, even when you buy a new one, are not at the right ratings. Okay, so even genuine stuff. So that's why I'm always recommending that you should be using a oh, my camera's moved. Sorry about that. So that's why you should be using a fuel pressure regulator, which is why the chap was asking the question earlier.
I've seen some of those cheaper fuel pumps you can get reading anywhere from 6 to 10 psi.
Nice calibration.
It's flooding. I wonder why it's flooding.
Yeah, and that, and it's not just flooding; it's killing your engine. It's washing the rings out. Absolutely destroying it. So
do you want all of your fuel in the
or 27 quid fuel pump? Do not buy that. That's going to cost you thousands in a rebuilt engine potentially. I'm not saying it will, but potentially it's an issue. Ross also had an interesting failure on one of those where it failed overnight and siphoned the fuel into the sump, right out of the fuel tank.
I heard that too.
Right.
Yeah.
Now,
I heard that too.
Right. So big problem. If he'd have started that, right, could have potentially damaged wrecked the engine, washed all the oil out of the bearings and everything, absolutely destroyed the engine. He was lucky because he noticed it and he was able to save the engine. But that doesn't happen for everybody, and you can have real issues. Only fit genuine parts. All right. A fuel pump might be 140 quid. It's 140 quid for a reason, because it's got the right bits in it. Okay. So, that's what you got to remember. A cheap fuel pump is probably made offshore. Okay. And it's not necessarily made to the same specifications. And certainly what we've seen, they ain't. All right. So just avoid the cheap components. All right.
Yeah. If you buy cheap, you usually buy twice, or go back even further than that.
Or put 2 noughts on the end when you have to buy an engine.
Yes. Yes, definitely.
Okay, so Chris Godfrey, sea level Wellington area. Right. Okay.
Windy Wellington.
Okay. Right. Okay. So you're at sea level. Yeah. So you've definitely got an issue with that engine. All right. So 13 to 15 inches of vacuum is the engine's not pumping properly. So I would suggest I would have a compression test. I'd also do a cylinder leakage test. Make sure your valve clearances are all correct. You said the can timing's right. which is, I can only take as gospel. And if you're not getting the right figures on your compression and your leak down, then that indicates a problem with the ability of the engine to pump, which is either valve seal or piston and rings and bores. I know the engine's been rebuilt, but something's not right. Okay. You also want to, before you get serious about taking the engine out and all this sort of stuff, just use some brake cleaner around the manifolds and see if you've got any leaks somewhere as well. You want to make sure you've got no air leaks anywhere or any cracks in the manifolds and all this sort of stuff. All right.
And also, what's the ignition timing doing as well?
Yeah. How far's Wellington from you?
It's in the bottom of the North Island, so it's a 4-hour drive and then a ferry crossing, which is about 3 hours. So
you can't just nip up and see you over lunch then.
No. I mean, it's a 45-minute flight from here to Wellington, but obviously I can't take all my gear on the plane.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
It's a big
I was
backpack.
just trying to be helpful, but clearly not. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is obviously one of my first stops as soon as I get to the North Island in March.
Yeah. Cool.
So yeah, keep that in mind, Chris.
Yeah. So again, nice to have somebody from New Zealand. So that's excellent. Apologies, I couldn't answer your question, but you're going to need to do a little bit more digging to be able to get to the bottom of that one. But you're right, things aren't right with that engine. Okay, Guitar Rich. Hi, AC, TK. Enjoying tonight's content. Thanks. Just a reminder to all, hit that like button. Yes, thank you very much. I've got 44 likes, 29 people online. So I think we got to the dizzy heights of 40 earlier. 32 now. It's just ticked up again. So if you can, if you're still on or you haven't given us a like, that's great. If you're new on, please give us a thumbs up. Like, that helps us. To get around and get noticed, which is what it's all about. Okay, so has anybody got any more questions, or are we starting to run out of questions? That's the key. Is there anything you want to say anymore, TK? Anything you want to say about your the business or where you might be heading in the future?
I mean, I'm looking at acquiring a lathe the moment, so I can get further down the rabbit hole. Because there's only so much I can do without a lathe.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a few bits of equipment that I'm looking at the moment. So yeah, I'll just to be able to provide my services just to that next level, basically.
Yep.
Just accuracy is key.
Accuracy is key, and obviously adaptability by having being able to machine stuff and being able to provide more services and better services is what it's all about. And obviously you're now set up for rebuilding SU carbs, which is fantastic. So you've hit the ground running, really, because that I think I remember telling you, I said, I'll probably find that most of your customers' cars are going to have worn out parts on. And I got that one right, didn't I? The carburetors were a well shot. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's some carburetors out there that have been reconditioned to obviously a certain extent because they've been so worn out. So someone's actually spent some time to go through them, but that's not very many. Yeah, fair enough. So basically, what you're saying is it's onwards and upwards, really. I suppose it's because obviously I know you're imminent with your. Well, I say imminent. You're not that far away with your distributor work and your distributor machine. So just for the benefit of other people, TK's looking to take on the ACDodd Distributor training via Darren Haines, which is fantastic. And also he's in the process of building his own distributor machine, which is excellent. So you're going to basically be the one-stop shop, I think, in New Zealand for carbs, dizzy recurves, and obviously tuning cars as well. And then the next thing is when's your dyno coming? That's the big question. I've considered that.
yeah, I'm sure you have. But that's always a question on tuners' minds. when they're going to get
Yeah,
design up.
yeah. Well, then you need the space to put it, and then it snowballs.
And the budget, yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously the price of the tuning has to go up to compensate for that as well. And
yeah. Okay, so not engine related. Matt Steele says, anyone tried putting 10-inch tires on rims? Lots of places down here won't do it. Ah, that old chestnut. Yeah. So if anybody can answer that, yeah. So if anyone can answer that, so Matt Steele's down in Cornwall. So if there's anyone here who knows anyone down in Cornwall that can fit 10-inch tires and do a nice job without damaging the rims, then perhaps if you can get in contact with Matt Steele, that'd be fantastic. Or indeed, let me contact me and I can pass it on. Rich Weston, which fuel pipe do you recommend that's compatible with modern fuels? The stuff that Berlin sell, Codan, is the brand, and it's got the right British standard on it. The number escapes me right now, and I can't tell you. But basically, contact Berlin Fuel Systems for fuel pipe. All right, because the stuff they sell, I use it on the road when I'm tuning, and I haven't had a problem with it, so it's good stuff. Darren's restorations, I do 10 tires by hand. Yeah, 10-inch wheels by hand. He does, but he's also, so Darren's also got his own wheel balancing kit as well. He doesn't do that by hand. He literally went out and bought a wheel balancer, which is fantastic. So he does all his wheels himself. But yeah, and that's because he's in America, and if you go out with a 10-inch wheel, they say, "What's that for? A golf cart?" You know, they're not really set up for it out there because all their cars are quite large. Right, Patrick, my car seems to keep residual fuel pressure once shut down. The residual pressure manifests itself as raw fuel going down the throats of the HS8s. What you're describing is too much fuel pressure, okay? So your float bowls aren't able to control that fuel in because your pressure that you're supplying to them is too high, okay? So those HS8s, I would imagine you probably want to be, I mean, I don't know the HS8, so don't quote me on this, but you might need to be down about the 1.5 PSI, okay?
Yeah. Apparently that's what it is.
So fuel pressure is 1.5. Okay. So my suggestion is have a look at the seats, okay? So I have to modify my seats to make them seal, all right? So just because you got something out of a packet doesn't mean to say it's absolutely right. Okay, so there are more tricks here than I'm willing to put online. Is a better way of saying it, but I have to modify mine because they don't always work out of a packet. All right, so all I'm saying there is I feel your pain, but you might have to do a little bit more work there to make them work. All right, because the other thing is, if the fuel pressure is 1.5 psi, when you turn the engine off, and what will happen due to heat soak is the pressure will rise. As soon as it goes above 1.5 psi, it will leak. All right, no two ways about it. So you need to get that fuel pressure down to maybe 1.25, so that when it rises, it doesn't go above 1.5. So all I'm saying is, if you using 1.5, you might need to come down a little bit, but you have to remember you're probably using probably 96 thou jets in that, and you've got two of them. That's a lot of fuel, right? And I appreciate it's on a bigger engine, but that is a lot of fuel. So you could turn that pressure down. So try turning the pressure down and see what happens. Changing needle and seats has achieved nothing. Well, it won't do if the pressure's too high. Yeah. So try and get your pressure down and see what happens. Go straight for 1 psi and see what happens. But monitor the pressure once you turn it off and see if it maintains or rises. Normally they rise. If your fuel pump is good and your fuel pressure regulator is good, the pressure will rise, and then it'll find the next weakest spot, which is usually the needle valve assembly in the float bowl. All right. Yeah. So Darren's just chipped in. Genuine seats have a better shape than some aftermarket. suppliers. Yeah, and as I said, sometimes I have to machine them so that to guarantee that they work. So it's not a straightforward job, all right, than just taking them out of a packet and put it on. But first things first, get the pressure down. 1.5 psi on a HS carb is the absolute maximum pressure. That's what's on the drawing. And what they're saying is you use them up to that, right? Not over that. So if you're running 1.5, that's too high. So you need to come down. So try 1 psi and see what happens. Oh, you just dropped out there for a second. You're back.
Yep, I noticed that. I was like, oh, there goes the chat. There goes AC. What have I done?
Okay. All right. So there we go. So no more questions at the moment. Anybody else got any more questions? I haven't got anything else coming to mind at the moment I want to talk about, unless TK's got anything he wants to fill time for.
Other than springs to mind straight away.
Okay, no, that's fair enough.
Yep.
Okay, so we'll give it a few more minutes. If there's no more questions forthcoming, we're back up to 35 people, which is excellent. So appreciate that. If there's no more questions forthcoming, then we'll wind it up a little bit earlier tonight. But that's not too bad. It's only, I mean, it's 20 to 10 here, so we've got an hour and 40 minutes. So that's not too bad at all. And I really appreciate all the people from New Zealand who've come in to see TK, which is fantastic. So, as I say, fantastic that you've come online. So thank you very much. What am I looking at this year? So moving forward for coming this year, obviously I've already mentioned about doing more tuning days. I'm going through the process of obviously trying to sort out the new needle that's coming online. I'm also looking at a few other bits and pieces in the fire, which I'm not going to talk about right now, but we'll see what happens. And the reason why I'm not going to talk about it because they might not happen. so as I say, I'll just dangle the carrot and then not show you what the carrot is. But we'll see what happens as time goes on. Matt Steele says, any shows coming up? Not for me, because my first show of the year really is the Riviera run, and that's in Cornwall, and that's in May. But I've also got Rustival, okay? So, and that's a new one, and that's because I've been asked by Steph. She invited me from iDriver Classic, so I'm going to go up there and see what that's all about. And then obviously I've got the ADO restorations. I've also got Wincanton, and I've also got Ed Westby of Twin Cam fame doing a tuning weekend as well. So yeah, we're going places, as they say, and we're doing more things, which is what it's all about. In terms of other carburetors and bits and pieces, I have thought about doing a set of twins for a new set of ACDodd twins. I'm not sure that I will, because there has to be the market for it, and I'm not sure there is the market for twins right now, and especially with what might be going on with the government, later this week with the budget, and we'll see how hard the classic cars get hit, because that might be the death knell and the sort of downturn in the UK classic car game. But we just need to see what happens with our current government as to what happens with that. But in terms of other things that might be going on, we'll just have to wait and see. Right. So I think we need to draw it to a close. We'll let this man go off and do some real work.
Yeah, back on the valve stem seals.
Back on the valve stem seals, and I can go back and respectfully recline.
That's it. You've done your day.
So, right. In all seriousness, thank you very much for everybody joining. Much appreciated this evening, and especially giving support to TK, who's come all the way from New Zealand to join us live. Oh, we just had one come in. A quick question just before now they're all coming in. Okay. All right. I'll answer these then. Okay. Adam Johns, hi Dodd, I know you're a mini specialist. I have a 2.25 petrol Land Rover and I've been looking for the advance curve for it. I was wondering if you worked on a series Land Rover before. Yes, I've done a few, and I've also recurved a few distributors for Land Rovers. So we'll take this one offline if you want, but we can sort you an advance curve for a Land Rover. So no problem. Matt Steele says, cheers guys, take care. Rachel comes back with, if you're ever really bored one day, AC, you could write a test paper with multiple choice answers. I'd love to test my own knowledge. That'll be great. I'd have to be bored for that because I hate writing. Being dyslexic, I hate writing. But there we go. But it could be a bit of fun, Rachel. That's for sure. Yeah, Dave Yendall. Nice to meet TK. Tar both. Yeah. Tire kicking wet dreamer. Do you know anyone who could run in a new engine in the Midlands? No. But if you could get over to South Wales to Ross Thomas, he could dyno it for you over at Knott's Performance. They can run it in on the dyno for you. So maybe that's a help for you. But I don't know anyone off the top of my head that could do it for you. Oh, actually, there probably is a guy that could do it for you. Chris at CG Remaps, he could probably run it in for you. So he's just outside Telford. All right. Market Drayton, I think. So have a look at him. See if he might be able to do it for you. Okay. Right, guys. Yeah, thanks so much. Okay. So let's go. We've had enough. All right. Okay. Seriously, though, thanks everybody for joining. Because without you guys, we'd just be sitting here talking rubbish and it wouldn't last 5 minutes. So all you lot have made this possible. So, and, you know, it's nice to see you turning out for me and obviously TK. So as ever, please, I'll ask you, if you haven't, please subscribe to our channels. Both, I think yours is TKRobinson 23. Is that correct?
Yeah, .23. Yep.
.23. TKRobinson .23, and obviously I'm ACDodd, so you know where I am. But if you haven't subscribed, then please do so. Obviously, give us a like, subscribe, hype, all the rest of it on all the videos, and catch up with all our latest videos. And please look back at our back catalogues. Mine goes back 4 years. I've got loads and loads of stuff on there. Not just tuning cars. There's all sorts of machining videos and everything else. So please give that a good look through, especially over Christmas when you've got nothing better to do and you're sitting there all fat and plump after your turkey. All right. Anyway, and I'll just say thanks very much for joining us tonight, TK. Hopefully,
no worries.
People would have seen this and they'll comment on you over the next few weeks. That'll be nice to hear if they have. And all that remains for us to say is goodbye, and we'll see you in the future. All right. Good night.